Hello everyone and welcome
Perfect.
back to the CoachCon Podcast. We are now up to episode 16 and today's guest is someone who's walked the walk both as a coach and an athlete. So today I'm joined by Michael Purdie. He's a coach who's been in the game for over 10 years, starting out on the gym floor before transitioning into the online side. He's a dad of two and he's made the transition from bodybuilding into more hybrid training, chasing both strength and endurance goals from the gym to the HYROX floor. So Michael's story is proof that graft, consistency and passion still matter more than algorithms, and that you can build something great without losing who you are. So let's get into it. So Michael, thank you very much for coming on today and joining me.
Thanks for inviting me on. What an intro. What an intro. Appreciate that.
I've been practicing it just for you. So take us back to the start, mate. What sort of got you into the gym and then into becoming a trainer?
Well, for me, it all started when I was a child. Always into me fitness, always into sport in general, right throughout my school years. And I guess, like a lot of lads back when they were approaching the end of school into college, it was all about getting into the gym, getting in shape, getting the six pack. That's how it started for me. I was always like the skinny kid. So I wanted to be that imposing force, if you like. So that's what I guess got me into the strength side of things. And then I guess you go down a rabbit hole. YouTube was sort of taking off back when I was younger, late teens. And then from there, I just fell in love with like the aesthetic side of things. So I guess that's how I got into the whole fitness space. And then from there, started working as a PT once I went through my qualifications at Rockcliffe, a place you know well.
Mm-hmm.
And then, started working with, lifestyle clients, women in particular, in the beginning to help them lose fat, gain confidence and just feel better in their own skin. And then, the rest is history, I guess, led us to today.
Certainly. So from those sort of early years on the gym floor, what do you think you learned most during that time?
Oh, you know what? Definitely earned my stripes on the gym floor for sure. Like, you get to work with a whole plethora, if that's the right word to use, of different clientele. And I love that, like, especially in the early days. I think, getting to know people, getting to know the likes, the dislikes, and what you, as a coach prefer and what you like to, sort of client you like to work with. So, I learned a hell of a lot, especially in the early days on the gym floor, learning from other PTs and my gym manager at the time. I picked up an awful lot. And then I think that's what's sort of made me the person I am today and the type of coach I am.
Certainly. And of course, yourself, you competed in bodybuilding, I believe it was men's physique that you did. And what kind of drew you into that world and then wanting to compete?
Yeah, I say it was unsuccessful. I'm probably being harsh on myself there. I didn't do too well. I didn't reach the heights I wanted to reach, but that's the nature of the game. It's very subjective, isn't it? The whole bodybuilding space. You are judged on your appearance on the day, and it all depends on what they're looking for. But I guess from my early 20s, I really wanted to chase that physique development side of things. Really into the YouTubers. It was back then, I don't know if you're familiar with these names, Steve Cook, the late Greg Plitt, who's no longer with us. He was my absolute idol growing up. Greg Plitt. He was the first, I believe, the first successful YouTuber. Rob Lipsett, those guys are still kicking around today. I was really inspired by them, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to give this a go. And I think my first competition was in 2018, I want to say. Before then, around that time, I was at Rockcliffe still, and then I competed again in 2022. Yeah.
I see.
So,
and is there any sort of lessons? Yeah, well, no, I was just going to say, is there any sort of lessons from that bodybuilding journey that still carry on now in how you coach and train?
Yeah, I mean, it's very different now. Obviously, I do coach clients. The physique development side of things. Like, I've got a couple of clients at the minute who are actually competing. In fact, she's just competed for the second time, and I've got Rebecca also competing in a couple of weeks. But Brilliant. That is very different to how I would coach, say, somebody just looking to lose weight, get fitter, more confident, more energized, and just improve, I guess, their well-being in general. It's very different styles of coaching. I wouldn't necessarily recommend the same bodybuilding protocols for those, lifestyle clients. That's for sure.
Certainly. And for yourself, what made you start coming away from the bodybuilding style into more the hybrid and the HYROX sort of style? Was it a particular moment, or?
Yeah, I think it was probably after that last show I did. I wasn't very happy with the outcome. I put all this work in. I mean, my coach at the time, Lewis, he was absolutely fantastic, and like the perspective he put on it, it made me feel much better about things. But I think I was very resentful post show, and I was like, well, I've put all this work in, didn't get the desired outcome, because like I said to you before, you are judged very much on, it's very subjective, isn't it? Like what you and I deem a good physique, judges might see differently, and it's all, I think for me, it was quite unhealthy, and it was leading me down a very negative path, body dysmorphia, which is something I still struggle with today, and a lot of people do as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I just wanted to focus more on feeling better about my appearance, and as well, which is something I carry over to my coaching today, chasing performance rather than what you see in the mirror. I think it's way more rewarding. It's not to say, don't have fat loss as a goal. It's a very good goal to have. It works for a lot of people. But for me, chasing performance is way more fulfilling, and it's keeping me motivated. It's keeping me driven to this day. And I think that's why I transitioned away from that bodybuilding space and going down there, which is very popular today, the hybrid approach, which is average at everything, as I say. But
Yeah.
I prefer that. And it's, say, with the running, with the HYROX, with the CrossFit, it's all keeping me excited about training. Whereas the bodybuilding stuff, just the sets and reps, I was getting to a point where I was like, this is not doing it for me anymore. And I've got a lot of respect for people who do it for the whole career. I think it's amazing. But for me, just I was at that point in time, I was like, this is no longer for me.
That's fair enough. And of course, we mentioned the hybrid training, and that term, as we know, does get sort of thrown around a lot. But for yourself, Michael, what does it actually mean to you, hybrid training?
Well, in a nutshell, I guess it's being ready for anything. That's how I like to label it, because you could step out and go for a race, go for a run. You can go and lift a decent amount of weight. You can combine the two. The different modalities, it's just, I love that. And I think for me personally, especially I'm being 36, being a 36-year-old now, less aches and pains, less sort of fatigue. I'm more, because I'm eating more and I'm fueling properly rather than just chasing calorie targets and body fat levels. I feel much better, and I'm a much healthier person. Whereas in my bodybuilding days, even though I looked fantastic, I wasn't waking up with bags of energy. I was often tired, fatigued. So that six pack didn't really tell the full story. I was feeling a little bit lethargic, low mood, poor sleep. But with this style of training, the hybrid, especially with the cardiovascular benefits, I'm feeling great, to be honest.
Fair enough. And that I was going to say, my next sort of question, if you like, was going to be the biggest difference in how you feel now, physically and mentally, compared to when you were just purely bodybuilding. You would say it's much improved overall?
Yeah, I would say so. And again, it's not for everyone. I know a lot of successful people in the bodybuilding space who do it for forever, and they get a lot out of that. But yeah, certainly for me, I've noticed a tremendous improvement to my overall health. I'm really into my devices. I love my Whoop, and the data, seeing my HRV improve, seeing my resting heart rate improve, and all the other health markers, especially for someone like me with a little bit of health anxiety, it's reassuring, and I feel good.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So on the, say your weight in general, how do you personally structure your training to balance, strength, performance, recovery, the running? What does a typical training block or week look like for you?
Oh, it varies, to be honest with you. I make sure, though, the work gets done regardless. Like, for me, I know it's similar for you as well. Training's non-negotiable. I know that's not the same for everyone, but for me, it has to get done. It has to fit in somewhere. So not every week's the same, but we'll always include about 25 to 30 miles a week out running, 3 to 4 sort of strength-based sessions with, depending on the time of year and what I've got coming up. There'll be obviously more, the intensification will change, like, because I've got a HYROX coming up, say, in December. It's more intense now than it was, say, 3, 4, 5 weeks ago. So it's very structured, and it'll work back over. So like reverse engineer, and yeah, so it's not exactly set in stone every week. It depends, but it looks a little bit like that.
Fair enough. No, so with obviously the HYROX side of things as well, and of course you've done numerous running events as well. Has there been a particular favourite event or race so far that you've really enjoyed, or got a personal best in or something like that you look back fondly on?
One that sticks out, I guess, was my first half marathon back in 2024. My daughter was actually born like 2-3 weeks before the half marathon, and I wasn't going to enter, but then I decided last minute. Well, I spoke to my wife first. I was like, look, I really want to do it. She was like, yeah, just go for it. So I was like, I didn't have any sort of goals in mind, and I went for it, and I achieved like a really good time, like sub 90 minutes for my first ever half marathon. I don't think I'd ever ran that far. Yeah, I don't think I'd ever ran that far. So to do that, I think that sticks out for me. That was a great achievement. And then along the way, HYROX is like, with me and my HYROX partner Sam, we're so close to that sub 60. So that's what we're going for in December, and we've just been a minute short every time, and it's really frustrating, but it keeps us hungry and keeps us committed to go again and try and achieve that sub 60. So that, I guess, sticks out. And most recently, I think my 5k, which is down to like 18 minutes on the nose. I'd love sub 18. That's there. I know it is, but for now, obviously, attention's on HYROX. So yeah, those stick out, I guess, for me. That's what I mean. It's chasing times, chasing performance. It's so fulfilling, and it's so motivating. I love it.
Yeah, and as I say, with that as well, do you ever find yourself getting hung up on the times and the, things like that? Does it bother you a bit, or?
It does. I think that's just the type of person I am. Very driven. I want to do more. That's why I guess the bodybuilding didn't work out, because I put my all into it and I didn't get the outcome I wanted, and I just chucked my toys out the pram. And it's a little bit, it's very similar with the running, actually. When you achieve, like, originally it was a sub 20, that's all I ever wanted, and I got the sub 20, and I was like, now I want sub 19.
Yeah.
Now I want sub 18. So you're never quite, I think if you speak to anyone, they'd say the same thing. You're never satisfied. But who wants to be satisfied? Nobody wants that feeling, because once you are at that point, you kind of, you run the risk of switching off and downing tools, aren't you? So
Certainly.
it keeps me driven. Yeah, but the negative side to it, my wife sees this a lot, is like the mood swings, the disappointments, the failures. It can get to me at times, but human being. That's how we respond to situations.
Yeah, that's it. And the thing as well, of course, obviously on the coaching and business front of things, you've done this an awful long time now. Is there any particular changes that you've seen in the industry, sort of good and bad, in sort of the last 10 years or so you've been doing this?
Many changes, yeah, many changes. I mean, there's trends, isn't there, you see online. I try to stay in my own lane. I know we've had this conversation before. I think it's very important as a coach to not be naive to what's going on in the world, but certainly if you've got your practices, you must stick to those protocols, if you like, rather than try to go down different rabbit holes and getting hung up on information. And a lot of the time, these so-called influencers will post misinformation with the goal of selling something, and for me that it gets my back up. And this is why I try and stay in my own lane, because I don't want my energy to be shifted towards that. I want it to stay on what I'm doing and what I believe in. And I've got quite a low following compared to some. 2,500 followers, I think it is, and it's very difficult to be heard on social media these days. You know how it is. I just try and get my message across, my honest message, and hopefully it sticks with the right people. But yeah, there's been many changes over the years. Yeah.
Certainly, and I think there's definitely been a growth on the online front, and I think that's both good and bad as well. Because as you say, I think there's a lot of people just get into it, maybe delivering a bit of a wrong message, or just trying to sell the dream, sell even in some cases the dream supplement, things like that. So I think authenticity is what pays off in the long term, and people that align with yourself as well, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think personal brand's really important. With that said, you know what you said earlier, sorry, it's such a minefield. Like, no wonder people feel lost, because you read one thing about, I don't know, sweeteners, about processed food, you read another thing saying eggs are bad for you, these foods are bad for you, and it's just like, what direction do I go down? This is just such a minefield. So it's very difficult to be heard, and like you said, the online presence now is massive, and it's both good and bad. And I think it's just trying to, align yourself with the right people, the right information, and going off facts, not what a big following says. Because again, my clients are not guilty of that. It's not their fault, but they often send me something, and it'll be from a really high-profile account. And oh, this is interesting, like a 6-week fast or something ridiculous. I'm like, no, just listen to what I'm telling you. So yeah, it's difficult, very difficult to stand out. And this is why I guess a lot of the accounts will say something really extreme. It's just to be heard, because you know what it's like. People are scrolling. If it doesn't grab your attention, I'm sorry, you've lost them. You've lost the audience.
Yes, certainly. And would you say that's probably been one of your main challenges as well with the online side, just sort of the content being heard, everything like that?
Yeah, I mean, when you speak about the boring stuff that gets results, ultimately people don't want to hear it at times, which is frustrating, because you have to put the honesty out there and manage expectations. I think that's huge in what we do. But yeah, if there's no buzzwords in there, if there's no overnight success, it kind of gets lost. If you tell people to sleep 7-8 hours, hydrate, stay in a calorie deficit if they want to lose fat, it's like, oh, is that it? Is there nothing more exciting than that? I'm saying, like, consistency, those things, that's what leads to results. And then someone will come along with a really exciting plan, a gut reset or something extreme, like, I want that. That sounds exciting. How do I sign up? And it's just like, what about me? What about me and my honest coaching? Frustrating, but again, nature of the game, and you just have to stick to your guns, stick to your message, and the right people will find you.
Definitely. And again, just kind of on the business side as well, obviously you've done this very successfully, but what advice would you give to coaches that maybe want to leave the gym floor, transition to online? Maybe they don't know where to start. What would you give in terms of advice on a business front?
Well, I'll use myself as an example. So I didn't just quit PT to go online. During lockdown, which was a good time to be fair, I set up my online business, all on a spreadsheet, all over the place. And I just slowly but surely sort of reduced my in-person and grew my online. So it was like a hybrid coach, which many coaches are to this day, and it works well for a lot of people. So I would advise going down that route, still doing the hours on the gym floor, and then in the background, on your days off, on your time away from the gym floor, put in the hours to grow your online.
Certainly.
That's my advice.
Yeah, I think that's a bit that gets lost. There's a lot of mentors out there that we could name, but we won't, that do just sell this dream of online and doing this, that, and charging a fortune for it, and it doesn't really work like that, does it? It does take a long time to actually build something properly. It's not a 5-minute job.
Yeah. Well, it's very similar, if you think about it, to us offering, say, fat loss and, 6 packs, muscle build, whatever. Mentors will use the magic 10K a month, or, earn X amount without leaving your house, and sell the dream of online, and all looks great. But coaches soon realise that it's not that straightforward. First and foremost, being heard online, that's very difficult. in this day and age.
Yeah.
And then getting the right amount of clients on board, and actually not just, you know, from a numbers perspective, client base, but actually the right people, because you and I both know if you haven't got the right client on board, it can drain your energy. It can really affect your life, really, because, you know, it's your energy's being zapped and you haven't got the energy to then replace them with a better suited client. So it's not just about getting loads of clients on board, earning this magical 10k a month, and that's it. It's not that pretty, unfortunately. So yeah, it's very similar. Like those, you'll get sold this dream, and it's not always the case. Not in my experience, anyway. It's been a slog since 2020 to grow mine to where it is today, and to come away from the gym floor altogether and continue being fully online.
Yes, no, I agree. There's a lot of work that goes into it. It's definitely not something that, I mean, even if you get a piece of content maybe goes a bit viral, it doesn't mean you're going to get the right people in, or people are even going to want to sign up either. It's a minefield, and I don't think there's a right formula for it other than just being yourself and being consistent with it all in your posting, and your own story as well is always a key driver, I think, for getting focus in. So yeah, I mean, your story as well, something that I think would be great to touch on is, of course, you're a dad of two. So how do you juggle being, you know, business owner, coach, athlete, parent, you know, all those responsibilities that you've got? How do you make it work?
Oh, yeah, wearing multiple hats, it's insane. And I'll be honest, I'm not perfect. Far from it. I've obviously got the support there from my wife. She's amazing. She understands, like, my workload. She understands, you know, what for me needs to get done, and she backs me up every step of the way. So I do appreciate that. I think it's just mapping out your day, mapping out your week, not just, you know, throwing something together. You can't wing it in this game. You really can't. You have to have your, I'm allowed to swear on here. You have to have your shit together.
Yeah, you want me.
You have to have, you know, everything together. You know, you have to be organised. You have to make sure. I said to you before, my training's non-negotiable. So that, for me, that's the easy part. It's putting in the hours, not procrastinating over tasks you need to do within the business. It's having all your ducks in a row and being organised, I guess. It's not really that exciting, but yeah, I think for me, it's mapping out your week.
Fabulous. Yeah, it's what gets the job done.
Yeah. And I stick to non-negotiable tasks as well. Like, if a task's in the diary, it's there, it has to get done. I'm like, you're not leaving until it's done. And it took me a while to get to that point, because especially tasks that aren't that exciting are kind of pushed to the back burner. But I'm like, no, this is going to make me a better coach. This is going to help my business, help everything grow. It needs to be done. So I think it's being as disciplined as you can. Not perfect, no one is, but yeah, definitely having that discipline in there is needed.
Certainly. And do you think being a dad has changed how you see health and fitness as well in any way?
100%. In fact, I put a post out the other day, basically, you know, saying the same. Like, I was walking, I'd Rosa in the backpack, and I felt great. I went up a flight of stairs, I had it in my back for a long period of time, and I said to myself, like, beyond aesthetics, beyond, like, the visuals, I feel good. Like, that would have been a struggle if I didn't prioritize my health and fitness. Like, imagine if I just didn't. Imagine if I didn't look after myself, my nutrition, my training. Imagine how difficult that would feel. It might not even be possible. So my kids would miss out on a lot. And that really hit home for me. So I put a post out about that the other day. So it's changed me. It's changed a hell of a lot in my life, to be honest with you. It's made me a better person, that's for sure.
Fabulous.
I grew up, as soon as my son was born, 11 years ago, I grew up overnight. Yeah, for sure.
So for yourself as well, how do you stay disciplined on the days where you might just be very tired, worn out, you know, life getting you down? Is there any sort of set things that you do to keep yourself going?
For me now, again, I'm not perfect at this. It's knowing when to push on and when to pull back. I'm still finding that very tricky. Like, there's some days I genuinely do need to not work or not train, but getting that balance right, I'm still in the trenches to this day trying to figure that out. But I think for me, it's showing up. I know we say this to clients, like, look, if you don't fancy the gym, if you had a really stressful day, just go, commit to 20 minutes, half an hour, see how you feel, and more often than not, you'll finish the session. And that's 9 times out of 10 the case for me. If I don't feel like running, if I had a really bad night's sleep with Rosa, for example, I don't want to do it. I've got other stuff to do. I'm very busy, but I'll get out. I'll say, right, just commit to doing something. Get your trainers on, go. And then more often than not, I'll finish it. I'm like, very, very thankful. I'm very happy I made the decision to do that. You rarely regret it, right?
Certainly.
So that's for me. That's what I always think about, that in the moment when I know I should do it. I should just get out and do it. I always think about that.
Very good. So going into a bit of a sort of a quick fire round with yourself, is there any sort of supplements that you have before training, any particular pre-workout you like, or do you just prefer to just get up and go?
Well, I ice bath. First of all, I know it's not a supplement, but I ice bath, and I always, I've done that now. I know it was a novelty, wasn't it? Back, when was it? A couple of years ago, I think. Everyone was buying the ice baths, but I swear by mine. Like, I don't get in between, spring and the end of summer. I'm not in there because it's just, lukewarm. It's just pointless, really. It doesn't really have an effect. But certainly now, recently it's been cold, hasn't it? So I've jumped in and I get a great rush from that. And that sets me up for the day. I've got a sad lamp, which helps as well. I definitely feel the benefits from the sad lamp. Sit in front of it for 30 minutes on the morning while I'm checking my emails and things. So I start my day like that, and I always feel energized. I'm always most productive in the morning. And supplements wise, usual vitamin D, because shock horror, we don't get enough of it in the UK. Vitamin D and K2 spray. Magnesium, I'll take that as well, because that's really, really had a positive impact on my sleep. When we get enough sleep. I mean, Rosa has other ideas at times, but that's another supplement. Omega-3 when I don't consume enough like fatty fish. What else have I got in there? Vitamin C, I double up this time of year to combat colds and things like that. Zinc in there as well. Ashwagandha, I've been trialing that now for a while. I'm feeling the benefits, I think. What else? We've got Rodeo Rosella, if that's how you say it correctly. That's another one. I think that's it for supplements, to be honest with you. There's probably something else. Creatine, of course, and then your whey protein. Well, I don't know if whey protein's classed as a supplement, is it? I don't know if it is these days. But those are my staples, I guess. And electrolytes first thing in the morning. I forgot that once I've jumped out the ice bath.
Fair enough. No, very good. And
so that's basically from a supplement standpoint.
That's basic. I like it. And is there any sort of favourite lift or exercise that you like to do? Do you love your running more than anything, or is it just...
I love a bench press. I'll always love a bench press, because that was my thing back in the bodybuilding days. I could always bench way more than I could strict press or squat not back squat, but yeah. I always love jumping on a bench press. Yeah, for sure. It's probably my favourite.
Awesome.
Who doesn't love training chest? Chest and triceps, actually. I love a tricep press down. I love a tricep exercise.
Fantastic. And on the flip side, any exercise that you hate but you still do, or any that you avoid altogether, or?
I'm not a deadlift lover, to be honest with you. I think that's just previous niggles, back issues. I'm not a lover of a deadlift, to be honest. I try and avoid deadlifts if I can. If I know they're going to benefit me in a particular, training phase or whatever, then I'll do them. But yeah, I'll stick to an RDL or something I don't have to go as heavy.
Fair enough.
Yes, I would say deadlift. Burpees. No HYROXer loves a burpee broad jump, but we've got to do them, of course.
And do you have a dream HYROX location, or, of course, you mentioned around the 60-minute in terms of a goal time, but is there any sort of particular dream around the HYROX front there?
Well, I love Spain. I'm not going to lie. So we went to Malaga earlier this year and we competed in HYROX, and it was absolutely fantastic. I'm going to go back in April. So, no, I don't. In terms of location, I'd love to go to the States and compete out there, but it's a long way away, and for that 60 minutes, I'm not sure if it's on the bucket list, to be honest. I stick to Europe. I'm quite basic. I love Spain. I'd love to move out there, but it's not possible, unfortunately. Not yet. That's
Fair
a
enough.
dream.
No, I like that. And is there sort of one lesson you tell yourself, you know, starting out again as a younger PT, sort of going back in time? Anything you wish you knew at the start, perhaps?
Oh, good question. I guess it would be patience, because I lacked patience in my early PT days. Trying to get clients to listen and apply what you're telling them, and it was just going in one ear out the other, and I was getting really frustrated, and I was taking it to heart, taking it personally, and yeah, I think looking back, I wasn't very patient with the whole process, and I didn't understand how, especially in my early days, I didn't understand how a human being works. I was just like, well, I'm this robot who can stick to this meal plan or these calorie targets. Why can't this person who's got 3 or 4 kids, they've got 12-hour shifts to do, and I just couldn't understand. So I guess, yeah, just being more patient and understanding people a bit more.
Fair enough.
But that's something you pick up with experience.
Yeah, just with time, isn't it? And what's next
Yeah.
for yourself and for the business as well?
Well, I've just transitioned online, like fully online, a few months ago. So I'm finding my feet and just pushing hard and trying to get the right people on board. I've got a few coaches working with me on various bits. I'm obviously very much the coach, but I've got people helping me out, especially with like the social media side of things as well. And yeah, it's just trying to reach and help more people. I'm not looking to go viral or anything like that. I don't want to become an influencer, but I would like to grow my audience and work with more people, and maybe look at other I don't know, programs or anything like that to put out there and help more people. Maybe grow something. I don't really know. I've not really thought about that. It's just trying to be the best coach I can be, and trying to push my message, I guess, to as many people as possible. Many people that'll listen.
Yeah, I think it's the best way to be. And where can people find you and follow your journey online?
Well, I'm mainly on Instagram. I'm sure you'll put the handle somewhere. That's where you can find me. I use Facebook, but I'm not really active on Facebook, although my posts do go on there. But if you want to reach me, I guess the best place to find me is on Instagram. I've got a new website in the works at the minute, which should be going live at the end of this month, I believe. So yeah, that'll be on my socials as well. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Instagram, best place to find me. Drop me a follow if you're not following me already. I speak the truth.
Fantastic. Well, Michael, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much for coming on. That was episode 16 of the CoachCon Podcast. Thank you very much. Take care.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me on.